Welcome to episode 274 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I am Ben Briggs. It's Tuesday, people. Tuesday, the 14th of March, 2023. And it is, people, it's early doors. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. Holy fucking shit. Somebody shit the bed. Everybody says that if you get up early, don't you? You must have shit the bed. Shit the bed today, did you? You're in early. No. I imagine they say that everywhere apart from care homes, where that would probably get you the sack. However, it is 3 o'clock in the morning right now, so I thought I'd get up early. I did wake up early. I did not shit the bed. I haven't done that in ages. At least a couple of weeks. Oh, here we go. That old send you down the garden path and then bring you fucking straight back, baby. No, I haven't. I haven't shit the bed. Just to clarify, I'm saying it too much now, haven't I? I feel he doth protest too much. I just woke up early. I couldn't get to sleep last night for some reason. I went to bed early. I went to bed about fucking 9 o'clock, I think. And I had one of those nights sleep where you're trying to get to sleep and you just can't fucking, for some reason, you just can't fucking switch off. And I couldn't switch off. And I kept thinking of ideas for material and ideas for other bits and bobs. And I just couldn't fucking switch off. So I'm up every fucking 5 minutes trying to fucking write these down, because I know for a fact if I don't write them down, I'm going to fucking forget them. And by the morning, they're gone. And then there's a potential 5 minutes of material that I've lost that nobody will ever hear, or probably should hear anyway. It'll probably die the death at a new material night. But anyway, I couldn't sleep. And then I needed a piss and I had a look at the clock at that point. I went to bed at 9 and then it was 11:30 and I'd just been laying there for like 2.5 hours. And then you get to that stage where you just start getting more and more frustrated at the fact you can't fall asleep. That fucking winds you up. And the next minute it's like midnight. And then I must have fallen asleep about midnight and then woke up at like 2:30. And I thought, oh, fuck it, I might as well get up now. And if I get the podcast done, then I can get on with my day, baby. That's it, isn't it? And that's where we are, people, right here, right now, getting on with that podcast. So I hope you're doing well out there. I hope you've been sleeping all right. Anyway, I don't know why, for some reason, this has happened to me tonight. But, I'm getting old, and I got to, maybe it's my body saying, like, you need to start making the most of your days, putting in a bit more effort, Ben. That's it. That's it, isn't it? My body just going, you've been too fucking lazy in your life, so it's time to knuckle down a bit and start getting your podcast done early, which I am doing, people. I'm doing my best. Anyway. The last time we spoke, the last time I spoke, nobody ever speaks, do they? It's all about you, Ben, isn't it? You're fucking damn right it is. The last time I was on the last podcast, I was saying about Match of the Day. Holy fucking shit. I did watch it. I did watch Match of the Day on Saturday night. And it was a revelation, people. Not in a good way either. It reminded me, with no commentary, no punditry, or just watching the match and just having the crowd noise on there. It reminded me of the in memoriam section of the Oscars. You know, when everybody dies in the Oscars and they sort of like play sort of like sad music and it's just flickers of pictures of people. It just reminded me of that. It just took all the excitement. There was a lot less excitement without commentators, without the halftime punditry. I watched Match of the Day 2 as well. That was exactly the same, and I just didn't enjoy it as much. You know what I mean? Bring back Gary Lineker. That's what I say. Apparently he's in talks, so hopefully next week it'll be back. But it was just I found it a whole lot of a duller experience. It's when it sort of reminded me a little bit of the way games were played, and I saw a couple of boxing fights or UFC fights like during COVID when there was no crowd in there, and it was kind of like that. It took all of the sort of soul away from it. There's definitely, you need commentary and you need a crowd there for definite. Years ago, I worked at the British Grand Prix because I live in Northamptonshire, which is very close to Silverstone. Years and years ago, I must have been, 16? So what we talking, 30 years ago? Holy fucking shit, time goes quick. I worked down at Silverstone one weekend when the Grand Prix was on, and basically me and my mate were parking up cars. There was loads of other people. It was like an agency job, parking up cars. And then we did it the Friday, Saturday. It was blisteringly hot, fucking absolutely roasting. I remember getting absolutely fucking roasted because we're out in a car park. I'm a pasty white guy. So I just got fucking lasered by the sun. And on the Sunday, we decided to fuck it off. We were camping over there all weekend. We got a lift over with this agency. And on the Sunday, you got a lift home on the Sunday night. So we had no way of getting out of there, no way of getting home until the Sunday night. So basically, we were meant to park up the cars. We fucked that off and then decided to go to Cops Corner Grandstand and just pretend to be fire marshals, which fucking worked as well, like a treat. Pretend to be fire marshals and just stay there and watch the race, basically. We were just stood where people were seated and that. We were just stood on the end of a row in a high-vis. It's amazing what a high-vis jacket can get you into. And just watch the race. But the only thing was, it was very difficult to keep a track of the fucking race because there was no commentary. We didn't have a fucking little radio in our ear like they did. I think they used to broadcast it over Silverstone, FM, they used to call it, or something like that. And there was no commentary or anything like that. And watching Match of the Day just reminded me kind of that. I know it's reminded me of about 3 things that I've said, yeah. So pick your choice out of which is the more interesting of those analogies, and you can keep that. There's a little gift for me. But yeah, it was fucking great. The end of that day, we had to avoid the supervisor and get on the first. We got on the first minibus back. There was about 4 or 5 minibuses for this agency that they were running on, and we got on the first one back and then got back. And they paid us for the Sunday as well. Fucking unbelievable. I was 16. It's fucking great, man. And then I started working at Tesco's as a 16-year-old whilst I was still at school. There you go. Let's have a little bit of tea. So yeah, I'm definitely up for Match of the Day. Definitely having punditry and commentary on it. That's for sure. There's some. I haven't really done a lot this week. I've got a few gigs coming up this week. Wednesday, Thursday, I've got gigs. Nothing for the weekend at the minute. So I'm going to see if I can pick up a late gig, or I may even just take the time off just to get a bit of writing done. I've got new material night Wednesday. Thursday night I'm emceeing in Wellingborough, which is a nice local gig for me. It's about 13 miles from my house, thank fuck. Which is always nice because I know even though I'm emceeing, I should be back Should be back by about 11 o'clock, so that's not too bad. Even though I'm there all night, it's a fucking cracking lineup as well. So hopefully it'll be a good night. It's the first night as well for the Comedy Crate guys at a new venue. So we'll have to see how that goes. That's my week planned out. Hopefully I'll pick something up for the weekend. I should do. There's usually dropouts and shit like that. So I've just had everything on the back burner at the minute because I've been writing this new stuff, trying to get that out, trying to get that nailed down, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Needs work. That's the worst thing about it is the only way you can try out the new stuff is on stage, and that's the only way you can see if it flies or it doesn't fly. I'll be doing that this week, he says. That's it. There's a couple of bits I've noticed. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this out there in the world. The term unalive, which means dead, or people use it in conjunction with suicide. He unalived himself, which seems so fucking watered down and tepid that it takes all sort of like humanity out of it. He's unalive. Well, he's dead. He unalived himself. Now, apparently, I didn't know this, right? I've noticed it a couple of times, right? And I Googled it because that's what I do. That's what we all do. When we want to find out information now, we just Google shit. We don't listen. I don't listen to anybody now. If anybody tells me a fact or an interesting piece of information, I go straight to Google and just double check that it's correct. If it's not correct, I then go back to the person who told me that information, and I take great pleasure, like we all do, in letting them know just how wrong they are. I don't know. That's what I do. Like I knew it was wrong. I don't know it's wrong. I just Google the shit. I go back to them. I tell them it's wrong. That's it. I get all the glory in that situation, don't we? We get all the glory. They get to look stupid. I get to look slightly more intelligent without them actually knowing all I did was Google it. Or, not Bing it, is it? Nobody ever says that, do they? That got trounced, didn't it? Bing got apps. Every single fucking other search engine that's ever existed got absolutely trounced by Google. Being as to Google something is now, like that's the term we use, isn't it? Everything. I don't even know why Microsoft bother with Bing. I don't know. I don't know who's paying for advertising on that search engine or any other search engines. Rest in peace, fucking Ask Jeeves and all that shit, innit? Google has trounced everybody. But I didn't know this, the unalived thing. I just thought it was a mamby-pamby fucking, a new fucking thing where now we can't mention suicide because it's always a tragedy. Apparently, somebody said that to me once. It's always a tragedy. Really? Is it? Was it a tragedy when Hitler blew his brains out? No. Not every suicide is a tragedy. Not every suicide is done by somebody who is who has mental health issues. I'm not saying Hitler didn't have mental health issues. Here we are, going back to Hitler. I'm like the new Gary Lineker this week. Oh my God. Not that it's not that it's a tragedy sometimes, but it's not always a tragedy, isn't it? The amount of murderers, the amount of horrible people out there who have unalived themselves. Look at me using it. Hey, here we go. Who have you're not meant to say committed suicide anymore, are you? Because it's like not, that seems like it's a criminal offence. I don't know if it is still a criminal offence in this country. It's hard to enforce that if you, that's one of the crazy things, isn't it? That's one of the crazy laws that's been out there. The fact that committing suicide or being suiciding yourself, is that what they say these days? I don't know. It always used to be committing suicide, didn't it? Because it was an offence. That's hard to enforce. It's illegal to kill yourself. Well, you know, what are they going to do? Cut somebody down like who's hung themselves and right, you get 30 days inside and then we're going to bury you. That's it. Guilty, isn't it? Guilty. I imagine that was because it was religious backgrounds with regards to that. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Because of the sacredness of life and all that sort of shit. Anyway, yeah, I noticed a lot of people saying this online, right? And I thought it's got to be one of these hippy-dippy new things in, water everything down. We don't want to offend anybody, so we say unalived, which is just, it just seems it seems so watered down and so no real feeling. He unalived himself. What a sentence that is. You know, just say, you know, it's like I thought it was because like people are scared of offending people and, you know, like just like, so we'll say unalived instead of suicide, and that like everybody, you know, it's less of a blow for people's ears, people won't get triggered and all that sort of thing. But apparently this comes from platforms like YouTube and TikTok and those sort of platforms, whereby if you have trigger words in there like suicide, like in your content, then they may not put your content up, or they flag your content up and like say you have to like take it down and shit like that. And obviously people lose out on monetizing their content. So people have come up with a way round it of saying unalived. I never knew that. I thought it was just some sort of like new hippy dippy thing that had come out. Oh, you can't say that because it offends people, and people have been complaining. But I imagine that's because there was a spate of I don't know if it still happens online, maybe on the dark web. Let's have a little bit of tea. Hang on. Maybe on the dark web. I have no idea about the dark web, by the way. I've heard of it. I've never been on there. I have no nature to go on there. Oh, you can buy anything you want on the dark web. Well, everything I want is on the normal web. You know, I don't want to hire a fucking assassin. No, if you know, if I ever want anyone dead, I'd like to think that I have the balls to do it myself, the balls and skills to do it myself, people. Dear, isn't it? I'd like to think, you know, I wouldn't have to hire someone to do that. I would take great pleasure in doing it myself. I'm not saying I'm going to go around killing people, but, you know, there's nobody who's annoyed me that much. So there is sometimes. I have fucking rage inside me sometimes. But usually that is targeted at people who are driving too slowly in front of me. And I'm in the safety of my own vehicle. They're in the safety of their own vehicle. Yeah, I imagine, you know, there was a spate of people encouraging other people to commit suicide, weren't there? Like a few years to commit suicide. There I go again. I don't even know what the term is. I better Google that. I'm going to Google that now while we're on here, so nobody snips those two bits out and goes, Ben Briggs is inciting suicide. Okay. Actually, I'm not. I'm inciting unaliving yourself. If you actually if you actually report that, commit. I just Oh, Jesus, that immediately, you put commit suicide, why not allowed? Help is available. It immediately comes up with the fucking Samaritans. Is that cool? Has that set off a fucking alarm somewhere where somebody's going to come in here at 3 o'clock in the morning, barring down the door? Holy shit, somebody's just Googled why can't you use how to commit suicide anymore? And they must be thinking about it. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go, 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 go. The right to die unassisted suicide. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not going to happen. The term I'm thinking about is on the fucking tip of my fucking scrotum. I can't quite think of it. It's around there somewhere. I don't know. But whatever it is. Anyway, I've got lost in that. I just find it interesting how language changes. That's the only thing, isn't it? Everything seems to, I get the aspect of commit suicide, right? Like it's a crime. I get that, right? I get it's an emotive topic. I've known a couple of people who have done it, 4, I think, in my lifetime. I've done it, people I've known, like a couple of really weird ones. One of my mates, a few years ago, somebody else I knew, somebody else's, stepdad or whatever, one of them went shopping and bought a load of new clothes and then topped himself, I don't know if he tried them on or what. I don't know. Didn't think he looked good in any of them. I don't know. It's a difficult thing. What goes through people's minds, isn't it? At times like that. I've known people not to have done it who have no mental health problems whatsoever. And, is that right, Ben? Yes, because I fucking knew them. And, yeah. But there you go. Anyway, there's far too many there anyway for one person. You start questioning yourself a little bit. Why are all these people around me killing themselves? Is this something to do with me? I have no idea. Anyway, whether this content goes up or not, let's just say at this stage, for every time I said suicide there, I obviously meant unalived. But it's just how the language changes. That's what interests me. This is the path you have to walk as a comedian, you see. It's an interesting insight into how actually, different types of language change. And then all of a sudden, bang, you can't be saying that. You should be saying this. It's a very interesting, it's interesting to me anyway. Whether it's interesting to you or not, I have no idea. One thing that may interest you out there, which may surprise you out there, I'm going to have to take tea. There we go. I'm going to have some tea. I was watching. Now, this is a program over here in the UK. A couple of people have said to me about it and go, you have to watch this. It's fucking great. And I thought it was something like Love Island or something like that. But Married at First Sight. Oh, man. I was watching the Australian thing the other day. The Australian version of it. Which, if anything, I thoroughly recommend watching the Australian version of anything. The Apprentice, anything out there, any reality TV show with Australian people in, because they're all fucking extreme and barking. As, sorry to our Australian listeners out there, but come on. You know what you like, right? They're all, hey, man, there's something about the climate out there. You think because they had a heavy British influence, that Australian people would be very much like British people. They are not. They are the most laid-back people ever. There's none of that stoicism that the Brits have got. There's, there's none of that repression. Australian people seem very open about everything. And I was watching this. Married at First Sight is basically these fucking people. They're fucking people who can't find somebody to marry, although for some reason all the women are stunning and all the guys, seem sort of like beefed up or whatever. They've all decided at the age of 20s, in their mid to late 20s, that they're never going to get married, so they need to go on a TV program. The first red flag on that would be you're going, if you're marrying them, would be the fact that you're going on a TV program to find somebody to marry and you meet them on your fucking wedding day. Now, that would be the first red flag not to marry them. However, these people seem committed to marrying each other after applying for this reality TV show. So they meet on their wedding day. They basically get to know each other over the ceremony. Then they have to live together for a bit, I think, after they get married. I haven't got to that bit yet. But this one episode was about there was a couple, Bronte, and that was the fucking girl's name, Bronte and Harrison. I think the guy's name was Harrison, and he'd apparently been seeing somebody beforehand. He'd promised her a lot of shit, and then he goes on the show. And then one of her friends says this woman's contacted her and said about the fact that he's going to hook up back with her after the show or whatever. So they say this on a wedding day, and this Bronte girl's there. She's crying, she's shocked and stuff like that. Bearing in mind, she's just met this guy. She's just married him, and now suddenly she has a vast attachment to him that she's getting all upset about it. It just made me laugh. Everything seems like done for the cameras. I wouldn't trust anyone. If you met somebody, like you met somebody while you were out, and I'm always suspicious of couples who get married within the first 6 months of meeting each other. Or the first year of meeting each other, and then suddenly they're married like that. You just think, holy fucking shit. This is just two desperate people thrown together. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Who are you, Ben, to judge people? Who are you, Ben, to judge people? Well, that is a very good point. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Do they do a Married at First Sight for repressed, angry people, where they just meet and go, you want to get fucking married? Yeah, I'll get fucking married. All right, yes, I fucking do. All right, let's have the wedding day. There's your cake, sweetheart. Now I'm off to a gig. What do you mean? What about me? What about this life we're building together? Well, I've got gigs to do, sweetheart. Anyway, I find it fascinating. I'm hooked, baby. I never thought all of these fucking reality TV shows, right? Big Brother. I watched that when it first came out because it was a national phenomenon, weren't it? Just weirdos living in a house, But I haven't watched reality TV for ages. I don't watch like any of the shit, the Real Housewives of fucking wherever. The Real House, they're not Real Housewives, are they? Either. Are they? They're just, they ought to call it rich bitchy women. That's what they should have been called. Rich bitchy women. Rich women fucking argue with each other. That's what they should have called that. I haven't watched any of those, but I am hooked on this. Only because I've realised I like seeing a car crash in front of me. Look, I think I said on the podcast like a couple of episodes ago or whatever, I love watching new couples get together on Facebook, and I love the oversharing of pictures, the oversharing of affection, because I know at some point that is all going to come crumbling down. I mean, if it doesn't, fair enough. But there's a few people now I've got lined up on my Facebook pages. There's about 5 couples who have recently got together where I just want to see it all come tumbling down. Not anybody who I know quite well or see often, but it's just a couple of people there's about 4 or 5 who have got together in relationships, and then you see the pictures coming out and you see the posts, and then you see it's usually the woman who's posting in it about being in a new relationship. Hey, I'm not going to fucking die alone. I've managed to bag myself a dick. And all of her friends underneath, this couldn't happen to a better person. And you're thinking, actually, you may be a bit mental. This couldn't happen to a better person. And then the guy gets tagged into it and he's all like loving everything. And then suddenly it'll go silent. Suddenly it goes silent, doesn't it? All of a sudden those posts stop. And then all the posts, the memes start being posted a week, 2 weeks later. Nobody can hurt you unless you let them. Oh, there we go, sweetheart. You're back to it again, aren't you? You're back to posting the memes. You're, about like how much of a strong, independent woman you are. Completely forgot about how you folded and you were gushing all over somebody. Oh, yeah. That's the good taste. That's the taste I like to see. That's the taste in my mouth I like. I like to see that failure in a relationship. I like to see the 360 or 180-degree turnaround, really, in it. And, it gives me great pleasure, and I will enjoy that when it happens in those relationships. If anybody in those relationships is listening right now, they wouldn't, because I don't see them that often. But yeah. Anyway, that's 31 minutes, people. There we go. There's an insight at 3:30 in the morning about how my sick, fucking twisted brain works with relationships. There you go. Is that because you're jealous of them, Ben? Is it? Is it, Ben? Maybe a little bit, but there you go. I'm big enough to admit that. Anyway, people, that was episode 274 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I will be back on Saturday, motherfuckers. I hope you have a good rest of your working week. And I shall speak to you on Saturday. Take care.